Today, we're going to be rating custom Magic the Gathering cards. Let's see how absolutely bizarre crazy these get today. Birmingham's Law. This is a 3-mana enchantment. Opponents may not try to correct mistakes made by you. If they do, they become a nerd in addition to their other types. This isn't even really a card. This is more unset-like than anything else. There's no way this is real. What is it? April Fool's? A little early this year. A little bit early, in my opinion. Yeah, I have really nothing to say about this. Look, even the flavor text gets cut off. Birmingham's Law states that the quickest way to get information on the internet is to post the incorrect answer instead of asking a question. Ooh, I like that, actually. You know what? That's a life hack, if nothing else. Card doesn't make any sense, but the flavor text makes a lot of sense. We play card games. We're already nerds. That's true. Oh, hey, look, not all of us identify as a nerd. I identify as a geek. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Anyway, this is not even a realistic card. Moving on. Let's look at some realistic cards, which is also very... very unlikely to be found on this show. Anatar, Lord of Gifts. What is this? You see Sauron over here? Oh, is Anatar who Sauron was before Sauron? 3 mana for a 2/4 Avatar Artificer. Equipment you control equipped creature. But you can't put it on anything else. Like, that's just stating the obvious at this point. You may equip creatures you control to creatures you don't control. Ah, I see. You know what? Sometimes we have to read to the end of the card. I guess that's awesome. Except there's only one problem. There's a lot of equipment that just costs 0. So I actually think this would be broken. Just stone cold broken. Basically turns all your 0 mana equipment, 0 mana, like, I don't know, 1 mana cast or 0 mana cast, 1 mana equip into straight up creature, not even creature removal, just creature stealing. Now, if they made an equipment that was like 3 mana, pay 2, steal a creature, or maybe you can even be a little bit more aggressive than that, maybe to pay 2 mana, I could see that. But this creature, 2/4, that steals creatures by any equipment. Yeah, we did it, everyone. We broke Shuko. It's done. It's gonna be banned instantly, because that's how these cards work. They'd print Anatar, that would live on for many years, and Shuko would get banned. Huh. No wonder the custom MTG channel was more active at the moment. Oh yeah, right before on Wednesdays. Yeah, that's right. It's the Wednesday crew. It's the Wednesday coffee crew. The Wednesday flavor. Okay, I actually think this is... I don't know if it's broken, but it's obviously very strong. And Steve Cooper is a little joking here. Oh, sorry. Steve Cooper is joking here a little bit with breaking Shuko. But that might be the only equipment you'll have in your deck. And that would be fine. Or one of very few equipment. And you can also add an Urza Saga to go find that equipment. So I think this is... it's very easy to build very few... equipment that there's not a big opportunity cost to put in your deck. Like, don't get me wrong, you're not going to play this plus a bunch of jank equipment, like tons of them, because you can end up flooding out on them, and then the deck just doesn't function at all. So I think this just pushes the 0 mana or really cheap equipment like way over the top. It's broken. That's right, it's broken. I think it's broken too. So we move on to the Force of Bill. There's nothing more powerful in the multiverse than the almighty American dollar. 5 mana for an instant. You may pay $20 to the targeted spell's owner rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Counter target spell. I don't get it. Is it like Unset Day or something? I thought we're making real Magic the Gathering cards here. I thought we're making real Magic the Gathering cards. None of these are real Magic the Gathering cards. Nikachu, did you get a haircut? Actually, a little bit of column A. Yes, I did get a haircut, but I had a haircut yesterday. I had a haircut for the last few days. I did not wash my hair today because I am washing my towels, and I almost stopped myself. Should I wash my hair before the show? Oh, I would have nothing to dry it with, except for maybe a paper towel. Would you control equipment creature with mana value X, where X is this card's mana value fixed the card? Actually, it would. Actually, that's a great idea, Jonathan. Yeah, maybe, but it'd still be very strong, super ultra strong. Okay, some blue haters would still despise that spell. Oh, absolutely. You may pay $20 to the targeted spell's owner rather than pay the spell's mana cost. You know, honestly, I would have no problem with this. I mean, if you want to pay me to win the game through your counter spells, by all means, force a bill all day. There are actual counter spells that don't pay me $20. A lot of free counter spells. You have Pact of Negation. You have Force of Will. You have Force of Negation. You know, I want my opponents to play the cards that actually pay me money. It's not real. There's a bunch of jank here. Okay, we got Gifty, Cruel Equine. I don't know what that is. Is that like a horse? It's a 3-mana 3/2 horse. It's a legendary horse. This is not any sort of horse. This is a very special horse with a hat and a present on its back. Ward, lose 3 life, trample, and death touch. Don't look at me like that. There's definitely some context I'm missing over here. What was it? $20 mana not spent? To the target, then pay. No, it's just $20 for not spending mana at all. I have nothing. I'm sure there is some sort of reference that I'm missing here because of the reference. I'm just not connecting to this. That being said, I mean, it's fine. It's clunky. I don't even know if it's really that good. 3 mana for a 3/2 that doesn't block very well. I mean, it's just as powerful as a Death Touch or as a 1/1 for 1. The trample isn't really relevant because it only has 3 power. The ward is like okay. It's okay. It's fine. I don't know how many people are going to really even care. Like, the thing is, you know what's the best way to kill this? You block it with a 2/2. Take 1 damage to the face. Big deal. All right, moving on. Faithless. Oh, it's the Faithless Looter. They made it human. It's this. It's the same human as in the Faithless Looting. Okay, it's a 2-mana 2/1 human rogue with haste. When this creature enters, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Escape for 4 mana. Exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. This actually is really cool. This is a very good idea. It has synergy with itself because you can escape, exiling 2 other cards from your graveyard. Oh, it's probably the 2 cards that you dumped there in the first place. Could be like a random land and an enchantment. 2 mana 2/1 is super balanced. Like, this is way more painful on turn 1 than on turn 2. What else can I say about this card? I think it's balanced. I think it's more balanced than it looks. You know, even for combo decks, a lot of combo decks, they want to set up like if they're super dangerous combo decks, they want to set up the combo turn 1, enable it by turn 2, like turn 1 reanimate, turn 2 reanimate the creature. No, hold on, sorry, turn 1 entomb, turn 2 reanimate. An assortment of other reanimation cards. Whereas here we have to go turn 2 Faithless Looter and set up our win by turn 3, which gives our opponent, I think, a decent chunk of time to have the heads up that we're out to get for the going out to get them. Great card. I think it's good. Not to mention, like, Faithless Looting isn't what it used to be. Anyway, Wooshi, the Realm Shifter. It's a 3-mana 1/2 human wizard. 3 mana, tap. Counter target replacement effect. I don't even know how that works. Is that even possible? Because I don't think the replacement effect even ever hits the stack. If you would do this, can I counter the effect that it would have replaced? No, I don't think so. I mean, you could say this, but it just doesn't do anything. Of all possible realities, the only one that matters is the one which benefits me. Yeah, it will not work as template. Well, I mean, you could word it like this, but the rules don't work in a way that it makes sense. Like, you can't make any use of this card. So you might have to wait 20 or 30 years in advance, or you might have to wait for 20 or 30 years into the future when maybe we are allowed to target the replacement effect. Don't do X, do Y instead type effects. Exactly. If you would draw a card, instead discard 3 cards or like mill 3 cards off the top of your deck. There is a way to maybe change this. You could word it like counter target activated or triggered ability if it changes its if it would become replaced, or target or maybe target if target activated or triggered ability would be replaced by a replacement effect, it does not replace that effect, or something like that. I don't know. That's the closest I can get. So okay, I've improved a card. Probably not, but you know what? That's the best I can do at the moment. It's the best I can do for our bingo card today. It should say something in the line of the next time a replacement effect would affect. Yeah, something like that. It just doesn't. Desu does it way better than I could. Way better. Oh, we got the Eclipse Ring. It's like Soul Ring. It's a 1-mana artifact with Exhaust. Tap, add 3 colorless mana. Activate each exhaust ability only once. That's broken. It's just broken. It's basically, isn't this just another mana vault? Like how often? And it may even be better. This mana vault doesn't even deal damage to you. Danger! Why are we making more of these things? More of these custom Magic the Gathering mana rocks. It just works, custom card makers. It does work in some. Oh, you're talking about the last card. In this case, in a single instant and 4 billion years, the planet's inhabitants depleted the energy of the only thing in the cosmos that ever looked upon them smilingly. No, it's completely broken. It's not quite, I would say Soul Ring is still better, because Soul Ring is better than Mana Vault in the first place. But there's a lot of games where, like, Mana Vault is just a 1-mana dark ritual that just pings you for one turn at a time for the rest of the game, and this one just doesn't even ping you. Now, I'm wondering, if you untap an exhausted card, can you still do it? Or you have to literally blink the card? Yeah, I know. I know Exhaust is the new hotness. Exhaust. Shooting at that carbon. Oh, so they made sure that you can't abuse Exhaust abilities by untapping the creatures, untapping the abilities. Well, that sounds so annoying to keep track of. So you're going to have to physically put some sort of permanent or some sort of reminder thing. I gotta like put something on top of my card to remind me I've already used the exhaust on this card. I'll put a little pipe sticking out the back of the card. It's exhausted. And it's in this case, it sounds like exerted. Except if you physically are exerted, that makes sense. Exhaust? How is the vehicle exhausted? It's a machine. When you exhaust the ability of a card, you take out your Sharpie and blot out the ability. That sounds great! Great idea. That's how we do it. But don't worry, just on the inner sleeve. Way too broken, in my opinion. The golden age of airships. Well, that's what we're living in right now. It's all magic anyway. 2 mana for a saga. Chapter 1. Create a 1/1 Ornithopter artifact token with flying. Wow, my brother would love this card. Chapter 2. Search your library for a vehicle card and put it into your hand. That sounds great! And then Chapter 3. Put a flying counter on all creatures you control. That sounds pretty useless. That actually sounds really useless at the end. Incredibly underwhelming Chapter 3 ability. Maybe they should reverse these all. I mean, putting on the 3rd chapter makes sense, so it gives you some turns to put some creatures onto the battlefield, but like, look, we have a 1/1 Ornithopter. Why is it a 1/1? Shouldn't it just be like a 0/2? Because that's what an Ornithopter is. Flying counter on all creatures you control. I guess you could have played that vehicle, activate it, put the flying counter on it. As a reminder, effect literally does not work in MTG. If you want to explain an effect in MTG, it always will be an ability, even in instant interrupts and sorceries. Oh, that's good to know. Anyway, I'm gonna say this card is fair. I just find this last one a little awkward. I find a lot of things awkward about this card. Should be a 0/2 Ornithopter. Just stick to the flavor of the Ornithopter. I have no problem with searching for a vehicle card because most of them are pretty bad. And then Chapter 3, putting a flying counter on all creatures you control. You just made a 1/1 flyer. Like, what do you need the flying creature to be flying for? But maybe that has something to do with the... Maybe that's something to do with the vehicle that you found. Mana Sink. Oh, it's more Silver Border cards. Silver Border Day. It's a 0 mana sink. Let that sink in. For infinity mana, you win the game. If you can't win the game, you can win the game. I don't think that's how it works. Infinity can be paid only by an infinite mana loop or by a million mana if the loop isn't truly infinite. Plumber, call Invoker. To be honest, I don't think... No, actually, you know what? This card would be broken. I think this card has to cost some sort of mana. Otherwise, there's a lot of infinite mana combos you could just pull off for very little mana. And this is just a 0 mana win condition. But if you tack on, say, 2... make it cost 2 mana. At least, then it actually becomes fair. Then you have like combo piece A, combo piece B, make infinite mana, and then you... Or I guess then that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what, so long as you have infinite mana, you'd be able to pay for anything anyway. Needs the uncard Mox Lotus? Ooh, that's right. Most Ornithopters are 1/1 in practice, or are they? Okay, I'm just familiar with the Ornithopter, the card that was called the Ornithopter. Technically, you can't pay for this with infinite mana because you can never reach infinite. Well, they actually specified you can be only paid by infinite mana or a million mana if the loop isn't truly infinite. Well, because the loop truly isn't infinite in all cases. If you try to loop infinite mana in a tournament, at some point the judge says, okay, you got to do something else. Otherwise, you could stall the game. So you do have to progress the board state, which means you do have to stop at some point. So figuratively, it is 1 million mana. And you win the game. I guess it just doesn't matter how much mana this costs. If it's 12 mana or 20 mana, it doesn't matter because you have infinite mana already. I guess it's fair. I guess. Maybe. Just add Mana Sink has Summoning Sickness. Maybe. Well, I mean, that doesn't change activated abilities like this. Unless it was a tap ability. I mean, you could do that. Like, it's a 2 mana, 2/1 with pay to tap. But then it would probably become a really bad card, like, all of a sudden. It'd be, like, supremely terrible. Oh yeah, oh wow, I just realized this is a Mana Sink Coffee Crew. Got it? It's a sink for mana, for all that spare mana that you have. All right, moving on. We've got our first super chat. It's only for 1 card. But we'll look at all the super chats later after the sponsor segment. Right now we're going to look at high spec drug delivery service. Well, I like the sound of that. Blue life gain, just because it is sci-fi flavor. Thanks so much, Winter Fox. Blue for an artifact? It's not very artifact-like. This card should be colorless. There's also a template for, like, blue artifacts. It's like artifact, but it's got a blue tint and hue to it. Tap, target player gains 5 life. Then for the next 5 turns, target player gains 2 life during each upkeep. Target player gains 5 life. Then for the next 5 turns, target player gains 2 life. Oh, because that can be you. Target player gains 2 life for each upkeep. Sure. It's very unusual, to be honest, that we have blue life gain. But it's fine. Yeah, blue life gain just because it's sci-fi flavor. high spec drug delivery service. From what like movie or TV show is this? Yeah, this isn't blue at all. This is nothing to, it honestly has nothing to do with blue whatsoever. Like even the artifact, like what makes this blue? It's a machine, right? It's more I mean, I don't know, maybe it's artificer like if we want to take a look at it like that. It's a little awkward to keep track of the 5 turns. You know what? It's also pretty awkward to keep track of anything with exhaust. But you know what? Wizards of the Coast has gone down this route. They've already set the standard. They've opened a can of worms. And now basically we don't have to keep track of anything. Or I said we have to keep track of everything. They expect us to. Because artifacts tend to be blue more often. I don't know if that's entirely true. Like there's a lot of traditional blue cards that break artifacts, but there's a lot of artifacts that were meant in white, meant in red, meant to be in green. You could say blue enables the artifacts the best. Through their old Tolarian Academy days, maybe even Urza, High Lord Artificer. Imagine you play 4 of these at the same time by cheating them out. I think you would still lose. Okay, it's a doable card. Flavor, really dubious. We got dubious flavor looking at this card. That's for sure. Okay, next up. Freebie section. The abandoned prototype. As many prototypes. Oh, I sometimes wonder how many inventions have been made by like the big companies like IBM, Google, I don't know, Facebook, and like Apple. We just don't know any of these things that can't. They scrapped it. It was like it was a whole like I don't know, virtual reality world against the wall, but they decide no, this is garbage. We don't need this. Anyway, abandoned prototype, 3 mana for a 2010. 2010. Oh, that really begs the question: what's better? What is the best Regisaur? Rotting Regisaur. That's what I was thinking of. How far can we push the limits for a 3 mana vanilla creature? Well, that might have pushed it. Make it legendary. I guess artifacts are kind of a Jeskai thing. Oh, they're an everything thing. That's why they're colorless. 100% colorless. This is really good for Aster. I don't know what this is. Not crew. Yeah, well, this particular card has no crew. Kareem spent 3 years on the design, 4 weeks scouring Girapur for materials, 2 days constructing the behemoth, and 0 minutes thinking about how it would get through the door. Yes. Too big for its own good. Hey, hold on, does that hit our, is there like a 10 plus 10 plus 10? Absolutely. In fact, it's even bigger than that. Exceeded our expectations. It's been doing a lot of upper body lifting. A lot less below body lifting. Just a fling target? Oh, now you're thinking Dimitri. We have to do, just typical fling. Let's throw it straight at the face. Welcome, Nola. This plus something like Alloy Animist? I don't know what that one is. Also, 0 minutes thinking about how someone can get even into these things. I guess animating this works too. Yeah, I mean, it's animated in the first place. It's sentient. It's magic. Now, hold on, what the hell? Why do we have vehicles when we have the magic to make it just drive itself? Why do we need to crew anything? I feel like I've hit a eureka moment here. Like it's all magic. You cast your spell on everything. And then the thing is animated. Like, what is this? It's just a bunch of like steel, right? It's just a hunk of metal. And then voila, it is now a living, breathing thing. What, we can't do that for the vehicles? We literally have to control it ourselves? Crew to steer the vehicle? Can't we give the vehicle the IQ of like 150? Is that so hard? Spells that animate artifacts, specifically their stats. If we make them able to drive themselves, they might start to wonder why they need us at all. Okay, so what you're saying is when the planeswalkers, when they create these creatures, they actually give them the IQ of 80. You got to keep them very stupid. Big arms, small brain. You need us. You need us more than we need you. Even mechs in most media require a pilot, even sentient mechs in some franchises. No, but still, like, we've got so many random mechanical robots that are... they're animated on their own. You know? Free of Me says, it's funny that some vehicles require more power to steer. They need power steering. They should also need fuel. Or maybe they're all solar. I don't know. Brian says, bingo, high-spec delivery service is... oh, yeah, that's right. The high-spec delivery service. That was a lot of blue mana symbols. 4+ mana of the same cost. Superfield says, just because you can animate a vehicle does not mean that it's going to be smart. Oh, so you're saying like the intelligence is already built into it before you even animate it? You know, I never even thought about that. That's possible. If you animate a rock, IQ of 10. You animate a vehicle, IQ of 70. Especially if it has 4-wheel drive. Okay. I don't know if this is a good idea to pass. No, probably not. I would hate playing against this in Modern. Okay, yeah, this has to be too strong. It's a really nice discussion, though, Coffee Crew. We discussed the crap out of that card. Okay, we got Healing Recall. Oh my god. Is it gain 3 life, draw 3 cards? Instant. Gain 3 life, target player draws 3 cards. And it's broken. It's broken. It's probably super broken. So, okay, now, does everyone know Expressive Iteration? It's a blue and a red for a sorcery. You, like, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You exile one. You can play it until end of turn. You put one on the bottom of your library. You put one into your hand. So, effectively, you can get 2 cards out of it at sorcery speed. This is instant speed. You draw all 3 cards, and you gain 3 life out of this. It's absolutely busted.
Oh, God, please, no.
Yeah, I'm just going to combine 2 of the power 9. Be right back. Well, I mean, to be fair, they tried to balance it out with one of the crappiest cards from that cycle. You know, we have like Dark Ritual, Lightning Bolt, Giant Growth, Ancestral Recall, and then we got Healing Salve over there. Pretty sad. Pathetic little Healing Salve. So maybe if we add Healing Salve to Ancestral Recall, then maybe it balances itself out. I'll tell you what you could do with this card. Maybe make it 5 mana. I think at 5 mana, 5 mana sorcery, probably fair. There we go. That's right. Modern Horizons 6 power level. What? How many Modern Horizons is that from? It's like 9 years from now. Meant to say the boon cycle. Was that what it's called? The boon? Damon with it's talking about the phrase "Don't look a gift horse in the mouth." Oh, no, like when you get like when oh yeah, it's something to the effect of like if you got gifted a horse, don't complain about its teeth or some crap like that. Something like that. I'm loosely familiar with the saying. Jonathan says, bingo, the golden age of airshot. Oh, yeah, we got that already. And you know what we got here? Totally disqualified. We have a lot of busted cards and a lot of unset cards today. Okay, we're going to look at more custom Magic the Gathering cards, but I know what you guys love. You love real Magic the Gathering cards. Isn't that why we play this game? We buy real Magic the Gathering cards around here, and I would encourage you to buy them from FusionGamingOnline.com. Today's sponsor. Innistrad Remasters is out. Go get your favorite Innistrad cards. But I'll tell you what, you want to get in on that Ether Drift, all right? You want to exhaust them vehicles. Are you a fan of racing? Do you play Grand Theft Auto? Grand Theft Auto 2 to 6. Well, you might be interested in this set, and that's probably what they're piggybacking off of. Don't get me wrong. Wizards just tries to rip off all internet culture in every single way. But get these cards at Fusion. Pre-order the cards at FusionGamingOnline.com, and don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Play any deck, any format you want in the digital realm of Magic Online. You played Arena on Standard. You can't sell your cards. You can't trade them. You can't do squat. But you can on you can on Magic Online. And then you can also rent any deck you want and keep changing it when you're running with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription with coupon code Nikachu_8GS. And we're going to get back to our wonderful Reddit cards. What's with all the $5 ones? You had a lot of opportunities before the sponsored segment. What the hell? Okay, let's start. I can't start with the $5 ones. What's wrong with you people? All right, we're gonna start. I'm gonna get to you all at the end. We're gonna start off with Nova, the Space Wolf. Thank you very much for your super chat. Take a look at your first 3, starting with Buried Sun disc. Let's take a look at this thing. The Buried Sun disc, for a Dimir, it's a landmark enchantment. If Buried Sun disc is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Oh, so it's a ley line. Ley line of the disc. Vanishing 25? That seems a bit extreme. This permanent enters with 25 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last is removed, sacrifice it. Oh, I see. Hold on. No. Okay, 25 is fine. I was getting confused with suspend counters. That could have been a problem. When Buried Sun disc is sacrificed with no time counters, for the rest of the game, you have restored the Sun disc. Okay, what's the Sun disc? It's not here. What is restored the Sun disc? You have restored the Sun disc. Or it's supposed to say you have to restore the Buried Sun disc. Okay, I honestly don't know what this means. Okay, for context, there's a lot of cards as part of the set that let you remove time counters from the disc. Okay, that's fine. I think this card is fine. I just don't know what the hell for the rest of the game you have restored the Sun disc. Or is that like an what's it called? Is that like an emblem? I think this is like the City's Blessing. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the same thing, just with a rebranding. Okay, Nasus, the Curator of the Sands. Sounds like they love to comb the desert. It's a 4-mana 3/3. Shuriman Ascended. Fearsome. Creatures with Fearsome cannot be blocked by creatures with 2 or less power. Now, Nasus has a +1/+1 counter for each time you've slain this game. When you destroy a creature or a planeswalker with either combat damage or damage dealing effect, you have slain. When you destroy a creature or planeswalker with either combat damage. I think you should just word it like whenever you slay, or whenever you have slain, Nasus gets +1/+1, and then you can explain this thing, because otherwise it's a bit weird. It's got to be like a triggered effect. Like whenever you get. Whenever A happens, you get B. And the B is getting +1/+1. When Nasus deals 10 or more combat damage in one attack, transform it. That's wonderful. It transforms into Nasus the Scholar. I was once from Sands, and now I dwell in the library. It's cooler in the library. They've got air conditioning. This is a 6/4 Shuriman Ascended, also with Fearsome. Nasus has a +1/+1 counter. Okay, the same ability. It's not Ascended God Warrior. Creatures your opponents control have -1/-0. Okay, I can get behind that. And then if you have restored the Sun disc, Nasus the Scholar's power and toughness becomes 10. And Nasus Ascended God Warrior's ability becomes creatures your opponents control have -3 and 0. This is a great idea. I don't even think this is that crazy of a card either. So you first have to buff this thing up to even. You have to buff it up, and you have to deal the damage. Ooh, Brian's like 5 words in the name. That's a bingo. You better be right. 5 words in card name. Oh, so that's card type. 5 words in name. Oh, we also did it danger. We also got one in danger. Okay, so yeah, this is fair. So I like this thing. It's almost like a day and night thing, where if you have day or night, you get a certain effect out of your creatures. In this one, what's it called? If you have restored the sun disk, or in this case, I guess the city's blessing. It's very, very, very similar effect. You buff this guy up, and also the effect gets. You don't have to say the Ascended God Warrior's ability becomes. You could just say it just become. I don't know how to put it. You get an additional -2, -0 or something, so it's a total -3, -0. I know what you mean, though. I don't like how it relies on a completely different card existing for its effect. Well, it might be. Well, here's the thing. I don't even know what this card is. Oh, so it is like the City's Blessing. So we got some confirmation. It's like the City's Blessing. This an untouchable thing. Completely untouchable. All right, the great idea. I approve of this creature. Okay, let's take a look at some more other cards coming from Four Paths of Life with the Interstellar Explorers. Part 5. Where's this 4? So I think it's part 4. Part 5 is just the V with nothing else. D-type cluster. I don't know anything about space. I know very few things. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune, Uranus. Those are mixed up for me. I don't know which one comes first. And then we have Pluto, if you even consider it a planet. I heard word on the street it's not a planet anymore. Okay, this is a land. Add white or red when you tap it. If you control a vehicle, add 1 mana of any color instead. Look at that. Right in time for Ether Drift. Tap, deal 1 damage to target creature. It explores. If D-type cluster was added to the hand while exploring. If D-type cluster was added to the hand? Why? While exploring, place it on the battlefield tapped. Oh, if it was on the top of the deck. I see. So if you explore and this thing was drawn through the Explorer, then you can put it onto the battlefield. I think that's a sweet ability. I think this is some innovative space in the Explore mechanic. Explorer is like fine, and you could honestly say it's balanced, but maybe we can push it up a little tier with the stuff like the D-type cluster. Welcome, Wide Shut. Okay, next up, Ship Helmsman. Looks very space-like. It's a 1 mana, 1/1 fleet pilot soldier. Can only crew 1 vehicle a turn. Only one a turn. Ship Helmsman gains the following abilities based on the number of level counters on it. 2+, it crews vehicles as though its power were 1 greater. So like what has 2 power. 3+, untap. Target vehicle it crews explores. +4, once a turn, you may counter a spell or ability that targets a vehicle it crews. And then, how is that possible? Once a turn, you may counter. Okay, this has to be worded differently. It should be like, vehicles that are crewed with Ship Helmsman, not get a shield counter. Vehicles crewed by Ship Helmsman gain, whenever it is targeted by a spell or ability, counter that spell or counter the first spell or ability. Look up Kira Great Glass Spinner and just stick it on that thing. Level up, create a map token, activate only once a turn. Wow, it is really, really hard to use. I mean, it's totally fair because it looks impossible to level up. Create a map token, activate only once a turn. Oh, the level up is you get a map token. It's so slow though. Really painfully slow. My god gives out map tokens every turn, huh? That could be fun. It's a map generator. Yeah, honestly. Okay, so hold on. Let's look at it a different perspective. What if it's only a map generator? Is that good enough? As a 1-mana 1/1? 1-mana 1/1 that generates maps immediately. And you, like, don't care about the rest of the card. Frankly, like, yeah, I just realized that's the best part of this card. It makes maps every single turn. Even one a turn. It's free. Free map. Just like when you're a tourist. Someone's out there giving you free maps. Jess says one day you should just put public domain techno as background music on the show to see what people do. Oh, go find some public domain techno? I could do that maybe one day. Hey, Pedgeman, welcome. Would this be a Yu-Gi-Oh card for bingo? No. It's really cluttered, though, to be honest. Okay, so it's really hard to level up. Most of the abilities are pretty bad. It's just very, very underwhelming. The best thing about it is that it is a 1/1 that makes maps every turn, so that's, like, good value. So, I mean, it passes, but it's, like, honestly, I don't think the card is very good, just because I think leveling up this card is so difficult, and all these abilities are not particularly amazing. Space Sail Transport. It's a 3-mana 2/2 fleet vehicle with flying, haste, and barrier 1. Tap, choose 1. Activate only while crewed. Add 1 mana of any color. You can only choose 1 and only activate while crewed. So we have to like crew this and then we tap it again. We're not even making any use out of this card. It's like a Springleaf drum, you know? Okay, add 1 mana of any color. Prevent the next 1 damage dealt to target creature. Create a token that is a copy of target non-vehicle creature you control with mana value 1 or less. Somehow this feels... I think this card is good. This card is a lot better. This card has a lot of potential. I mean, it's got that defense with barrier 1. It's got flying and haste. Crew 2 sort of sucks because that makes the card like a slightly more expensive. But it's like so it's partially Springleaf Drum. It partially makes blocking very awkward for the opponent, and you can make tokens of other people's creatures. I like it. Okay, let's move down the list of the big super chats. Trent Sims with the Cogwork Genie. Trent. Cogwork Genie. 3 mana 3/3. Djinn Construct. Draft Cogwork Genie face up. Oh no. It's a draft card. There's so few of those in the game. As you draft a card, you may remove it from the draft face down. Why? Immediately after the draft, if you removed 3 or more cards from the draft with cards named Cogwork Genie, open a sealed magic booster pack, reveal the cards, and add up to 3 of them to your card pool. Pay 3 taps, scry 3. So, okay, you know what? I sort of clowned on this for a second. This is a really great idea. So you are taking the chance of drawing a donut. This isn't actually exactly a complete donut. It's like 3 mana for a 3/3. You should have made it worse. Like, it's a 3 mana 3/3. That's it. No 3 mana tap scry 3. So the risk is you could end up with like a very barely playable card in your deck. Or if enough of these get drafted, you have the potential of, you know, booster tutoring some of the best cards possible into your deck. So it's sort of a draft fixer. But I think the base stats of like the card raw value as it is should be like way down, like really, really mediocre. Like maybe 4 mana 3/3. No, maybe 3 mana 3/3 is enough. Or 3 mana 3/1 or something like that. So anyway, draft card, boo. But honestly, I think for draft, I think this is a really neat idea. You can open any booster. Like you're unset in your pocket to break the game. No, not unset. Those aren't legal. They're not legal. Okay, Imperial Dragon. 6 mana for a 5/5. The flavor text is bleeding into the text box. We're gonna dock points for that. Flying in Haste, Bay 2. Creatures named Imperial Dragon get +1/+0 until end of turn. You're gonna get multiples of these out? Whoa, what a plan. Oh, yeah, yeah. I always have like 12 Imperial Dragons on the board all the time. Now, when Imperial Dragon enters, if it's not a token, you may put a token onto the battlefield. That's a copy of Imperial Dragon under another player's control? If we do become the Monarch... Okay, so in exchange... This is so weird. Creatures named Imperial Dragon... Whoops. What's going on? Let's go back. So we give other people Imperial Dragons. We buff them ourselves. We become the Don't we... Aren't we just going to become a target? Because we're the Monarch. Everyone wants to come after us. Worth it just because of Monarch, best mechanic? Are you serious? Aaron says, I wonder what I'm going to block with after you pumped up your Imperial Dragon. Oh, wait a minute. This is an activated ability. Creatures named Imperial Dragon. Ah, okay. So hold on. We have control over this. I thought it was just a... when I first read this, I thought it was just a static ability. Learn grammar should be, if you do, you become the Monarch. If you... Is that a grammar problem? Somehow I feel a lot of Magic cards are exactly written like that. Do we have... Is anyone going to second this? Is anyone going to second Dimitri's request to declare this as bad grammar? Oh, if you do become the Monarch... It's supposed to be you become the Monarch. Yeah, maybe that's right. Here we got Dimitri teaching us grammar here. Your opponents also... Oh, yeah! They also get the activated ability if they get the card. You're right, Brian. Well, it's a totally fine... It's a very interesting card, then. Too much of a nitpick to me? Alright, well, we're gonna get rid of it. You know what? We had 2 people backlash versus it. Grammar not learned enough. Not enough learnings for this grammar. How many of you don't have 4K screens or better to watch on? I think I polled people 8 years ago about that, and it was like 85% didn't. I'm currently reviewing this entire show on a 4K screen. Okay, Ice Queen's Favor, the 4-mana instant with Convoke. It's got Council's Dilemma. Tap target permanent starting with you. Each player votes for freeze or thaw. Put a stun counter on target for each freeze vote and untap a permanent you control for each thaw vote. Ooh, and you can play this for 4 mana. Tap target permanent starting with you. Each player votes for freeze. So we're definitely tapping something. And then we might stun it. Oh, I see. So we can either untap a bunch of stuff or we like stun the crap out of this card, almost making it like removal. I think this is a great idea. I like it. Ice Queen's Favor is a good idea. I watch on my phone 360p. Nice. Very nice. Very, very... You know what? Living with low expectations is the best way to live. It's only uphill from there. Not entirely sure if Convoke is needed. 4 mana seems fair for this, honestly. I think Convoke is fine. I don't even know how often the blue player is going to have Convoke enabled. Here's a question I get every so often. The Space Wheel. Well, what's the possibility of this being streamed in 1080p? Sometimes things can look pixelated. At the moment, 0%. Because whenever I go to 1080p, everyone complains about the lag. All of a sudden, there's lag. It might have to do with my stream client streaming in 1080p. Maybe they can't handle it so well. I have great internet, or maybe it's everyone else's internet. So anyway, we stick to 720p for the sake of it being smooth. Okay, next we go to Ungodly One. I like your comment. Freebies for the others. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna give freebies at the end of the show. So if anybody has any cards that you want to be part of the show in the freebie section, better make sure you get them ready. How many freebies was that? That was 5 freebies. Ungodly One, very generous today. So now we're gonna move on to Dam draws. Underground Sliver Nest. Sounds dangerous. Sounds worse than termites. Underground Sliver Nest. A legendary kindred land sliver. Underground Sliver Nest enters tapped. Whenever a legendary sliver you control enters, you may pay 1. If you do, create a colorless 1/1 sliver creature token. The ability activates once per turn. Whenever a legendary sliver you control enters, you may pay... It has to be a legendary one, like Sliver Queen? But seems fair. Like, how many cards are gonna trigger this card? Are there not like 3 cards that will trigger this? Anyone can get freebies. Just have to be ready at the end of the show. I'm thinking Sliver Queen, Sliver Overlord. It's about 7. There are 6 legendary slivers. This is narrow. Do we have something like this is super narrow? That is so specific. Very, very, very specific card. I mean, yeah, definitely not broken. Shred because I'm totally still salty last time I played against Modern Slivers. No, it's a good card. I like it. It's a great idea. Okay, Dam Draws has a second card, though. Force of the Primal Beyond. Of the Primal Beyond. Oh, it's also a land. You make land, I read it. Force of the Primal Beyond is a legendary kindred land. It's an elemental. Forests of the Primal Beyond enters tapped. You can tap for Gruul mana. Legendary elementals you control have evoke. What? The cost is 1 less than its mana value. Legendary. Oh, wait a minute. It's legend. Yeah, it's still legendary. How many is that? What do we got? Omnath. Maybe it ends there. That's the only legendary elemental I can think of off the top of my head. The elemental incarnation. This might break them. I don't want Omnath to have evoke. The cost is 1 less than its mana value. On top of that, oh, the changelings. That's right, the changelings. Changelings going to break these cards. So, hold on. Even with, and it's funny, with Omnath, you could evoke it for 3 mana. Or I guess you can't. It says 1 less. You still have to pay 4. Well, then it's pointless. Omnis, Locus of... Oh, wait, he's dead already. There are 52 legendary elementals. That's so many. That's literally 42 more than I thought there were in the first place. Why do people keep putting broken abilities on lands? Because we love the broken abilities. I love broken abilities on lands. We need to bring back broken lands. Everything right now is like broken planeswalkers, broken artifacts, broken creatures. We need to focus. There's not that many broken lands. The best time to be alive was in the year 2000. Guy's Cradle was probably the last of the broken lands. Animar is a legendary elemental. Well, I have to leave it to everybody else. Like, is this broken to all the other elementals? I can't think of enough good elementals off the top of my head that would really break this thing. Because it's got to be something with ETBs. If it doesn't have an ETB, it's not impressive. And by the way, it also has to have generic mana in the cost. If it doesn't have generic mana, then it's also useless. So I'm going to give it a pass. I could be dead wrong about this. Stupidly dead wrong about this. Shrine to Nyx was literally the last broken land. You know, it's broken in Pioneer, but it's not that broken overall. You know, it's not a bit of an overreaction there. Brian Freet, the Theon Chronicles. I have no idea what I'm looking up. Theon. That's how it's pronounced. He gave me some pronunciation help. Theon Chronicles. Grandmaster Theon. It's a 7-mana 4/4 Angel Wizard. Flying and indestructible. When Theon enters, you may exile a non-land card from your hand. Put 5 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, against suspend. Whenever Theon attacks or blocks time travel, then time travel. Whenever it enters, you may exile a non-land card from your hand. Put 5 time counters. I see. So whenever we ever attack, we can remove what 2 time counters. Is that how this works? Last I brushed up on my Doctor Who mechanics out there. Good evening, Mail. Surprised that there's only 3 legendary changelings. Yeah, me too. I don't keep track of that stuff at all. Okay, so whenever Theon attacks or blocks time travel, then time travel. It's indestructible and flying, but it's 7 mana. Like, what's wrong with this card? It's good. I think that a lot of people would actually have a lot of fun with this. It's I would not. It's bordering good and jank, for sure, or like I should say playable and jank. It's a big wide gap between good and jank. It goes jank, barely playable, playable, and then good. Time travel. For each suspended card you own and each permanent you control with a time counter on it, you may add or remove a time counter. I totally hear you. Okay, cool card. And we also have, is this more Doctor Who stuff? The Decimus Project. 4 mana for a legendary artifact. The legend rule doesn't apply to tokens you control. Gonna make duplicates of our commander, are we? Once per turn, whenever a non-token creature dies, you may create a token copy of a creature you control, except it gains Vanishing 2. So it's like making tokens you're supposed to sack at end of turn, but this time it's going to sack slowly through Vanishing. Oh, the card itself has Suspend 4. Oh, Suspend 4 for 1 mana, though. Okay, so you pay 1, and then you get this in 4 more turns. I think this is great. Who is Theon? This is Theon. That's it. This is Theon. Sort of reminds me of one of the characters from Final Fantasy VIII. I don't know who, though. The enemy had the scar. The bad guy had the scar. The good guy had... I can't... Maybe the good guy had a scar, too. Oh, good guy had a scar as well. Right? For anyone who's a Final Fantasy VIII fan. Which I am not, technically. But I'm familiar with the intro. Okay, Dematerialize Existence. This is a 5 mana enchantment. When Dematerialize Existence enters, put 4 time counters on each non-land permanent that doesn't have Vanishing. Each non-land permanent gains Vanishing if it doesn't already have Vanishing. Whenever a non-land permanent enters, it enters with 4 time counters on it. Oh my god. This, is this like... They both did, Cypher and Squall. Oh, thank you for letting me know. It's like if they merged the two. That must have been why I was so confused. We all got scars, an evil villain voice. And then this thing also has 4 mana tap time travel. This is a type of card, like, I don't know what's gonna happen when it's cast. This is gonna feel like a really weird Staxy card where I'm about to lose all my permanents, and also when I try to play stuff, it just gets suspended and we have to wait even longer to play the game. And just put 4 time counters on each non-land permanent that doesn't have Vanishing. And it was with 4 times if each non-land permanent gains Vanishing. Oh, I see. So enters the battlefield, it gains Vanishing. It's not, the things don't have Suspend, they just have Vanishing. It feels like a soft Armageddon. Oh, and we can tap to actually time travel, so we speed things up. Get rid of those Vanishing counters. This could be completely evil. Don't get me wrong. This could be a completely evil card. Next up, we're going to take a look at... Let's take a look at some $5 ones. Let's look at Little MX Doom. I don't know why you all donated these $5 ones after the sponsor segment, but whatever. We have Arnett, Titan of Life's Cycle. What the hell? I can't find this thing. Arnett, or did you just post it? Arnett. Oh, it's Arnett. Arnett. Little MX Doom. You called him bad last time, so I revamped him. All right. Maybe not. Maybe now Arnett is great. The 3-mana 6/6 Elder Giant. That's pretty strong. When Arnath, Titan of Life Cycle enters the battlefield, sack it unless it escaped. When Arnath enters the battlefield or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, create a token. There's a copy of another creature you control. That's still pretty bad, honestly. It didn't get a whole lot better. Create a token that's a copy of another creature you control. So like when it enters the battlefield, you could sack a creature to copy it, but then it wouldn't do anything. The problem is you're like sacking creature. You need something expendable to sack to copy another big thing, but it can't be this thing. And if you copy it, like it's gonna die immediately because it didn't escape onto the battlefield. Sorry, I mean, it's playable. It's still pretty bad. I have no idea how to make these cards better though. A second chance at greatness, but do you know what? Third time's the charm. Some people are gonna have a conspiracy. Well, Nikachu keeps saying these cards are bad, so they keep paying you more money. I mean, they're maybe. Okay, Mapius. Val Monacan Voice version 2. Okay, this is a 2-mana artifact. Whenever you cast a black or white spell, put a resonance counter on Val Monacan Voice. Tap, remove 3 resonance counters from Val Monacan Voice. Choose one. Destroy target creature with mana value X or less, where X is your devotion to black. Put a shield counter on target creature with mana value X or less, where X is your devotion to white. How do I do this again? Destroy target creature with mana value X or less, where X is your devotion to black. And then the other one is for white. Whenever you cast a black or white spell, put a resonance counter. So this is for the Orzhov players. Hence the color identity in the top left over there. Couldn't you copy Arnath? Well, you can, but it would come into play as a creature that didn't escape, and then it has to sacrifice itself. That's a problem. You think this card's dangerous? Cast a black or white spell. Destroy target creature. Put a shield counter on target creature. I think this card's actually fine. You get a little bit of attack, a little bit of defense. It's like a cannon. You have to charge up before you like blast somebody away. And in the same vein, you can also protect something. I think it's totally a fine card. Especially since you have to cast cards. Whenever you cast, you need these resonance counters. You need 3 of them. I don't know how easy that's going to be to build up. You basically pay 2 mana and do nothing for the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 turns. Was wondering if this was Yu-Gi-Oh art, and then I saw the artist was Konami. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's Konami. That's right. We're stealing Yu-Gi-Oh art. Putting it on our Magic cards. Okay, Nova the Space Wolf, let's take a look at your last 2 cards. Starting with Renek Ton. The Gatekeeper. This is another 2-sided card. Okay, Renek Ton, Gatekeeper of Shurima. Okay, this is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'm gonna have to lean in on this one. Way too much text. This is way... What are we doing? I mean, I've seen worse. This hits the limit of like really bad and like barely readable. Somewhere there. Okay, Trample. When Renekton challenges... I'm guessing challenges a creature an opponent controls, Renekton gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Whenever this creature attacks, you may have target creature defending player controls untap and block it, even if unable to do so normally. Okay. It's like a shadow creature must block, even though it cannot do that normally. Whenever Renekton deals combat damage to an opponent or creature they control, put butcher counters on Renekton equal to the damage dealt at the start of your turn. Sorry, at the start of your upkeep. If Renekton has 10 or more butcher counters on it, we can transform it. Renekton, the Butcher of Sands, a 5/5 trampler. Whenever Ascended God Warrior, whenever Renekton attacks, put a +3/+3 counter on Renekton until end of turn. If you have restored the Sun Disc, Renekton, the Butcher of the Sands, power and toughness becomes 10, and Renekton's Ascended God Warrior ability becomes whenever Renekton blocks or is blocked, Renekton deals 2 damage to target creature, to target opponent and each creature they control. For clarity, you have to give Renekton Challenger from one of the other cards I've made. You have to give it Challenger. When Renekton... Oh, this is like a mechanic that you give something to? When Renekton challengers a creature an opponent controls... Okay, I didn't know that's something you have to enable through another card. I can't tell. Is that something we're going to see in the future, or is that a card that we've seen in the past? Outside of that, I give it a pass. Less is more, though. If I were to give some criticisms, less is more. You know, jamming as much text on the thing as possible. It's awkward. You know, it just becomes too wordy. Since Yu-Gi-Oh artists almost never credit themselves, really? Why not? I wrote Konami to at least indicate that it's from Yu-Gi-Oh. What, are they ashamed of making Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Nothing to be ashamed of. Or maybe it's Konami. They're keeping them in the basement. No one's gonna know about their existence. Okay, 4 Paths of Life. The Interstellar Explorers. Let's see the second half of this. Uh-oh. This is where the busted land came from. Okay, what do we have here? Standard Crew Complement. It's a 3-mana legendary enchantment. Crew abilities can't be countered. They're not likely to be countered anyway. Like, there's not... Okay, but oh, sure, they can't be countered. Invincible crew abilities. Whenever a vehicle you control would no longer be crewed, untap each creature that crews it before doing so. Huh? If you do, those creatures can only crew that vehicle until your next upkeep. What the hell did I just read? Yeah, exactly. Take that, Stifle. Stifle. Tashana's Tidebinder. There's a few other niche ones. Nimble Obstructionist. Whenever a vehicle you control would no longer be crewed. So I guess that's a cleanup step. Untap each creature that crews it before doing so. So I untap at the end of the turn. If you do, those creatures can only crew that vehicle until your next upkeep. Okay, so yeah, I can't crew something else. I have to crew the same creature. That is so clunky. That is such a weirdly worded card. At the same time, this looks incredibly underwhelming. We're protecting ourselves versus an effect that is super rare. And I guess what we're doing is we're crewing for 0. Couldn't we just say, like, creatures can be crewed for 0? And that's it? Or is that too strong? I think this lets you crew them on attack and defense. Does it need to be legendary? Probably not. It's not even a very specific crew complement. It is the standard crew complement. There's probably tons of standard crew complements out there. Not necessary to be legendary at all. All right, doable ability. I think. I don't know if you're allowed to untap something when it's about to not be a vehicle anymore, but I sort of understand where it's going. It should just be... Okay, you know what? Let me reword this. Creatures that crewed vehicles this turn, untap at end of turn. Creatures that untapped at end of turn, like if you untap a creature, they can only crew the vehicle that it crewed. You can only crew that vehicle associated with, like, you can only crew that vehicle until your next upkeep. Or until your next turn. Next upkeep isn't even necessary. Dimitri says, the contract on Yu-Gi-Oh! Gives no credit due to it being connected to old gaming, the mindset of don't state the real names to prevent them leaving to get better pay elsewhere. Oh, real interesting. That sounds highly illegal. Highly illegal business practices. But Konami is based where? In Japan? They do things differently over there. Jess asks, do you specifically have a gray shirt for the show? Are your other clothes for life different? Nope, they are not actually. At some point I like Mark Zuckerberg'd it and was like, you know what? I don't want to think about what I wear in the morning. I am just wearing a gray shirt every single day until I get tired of it and then maybe move on to some other shirt. Hold on, wait. You know what's interesting? It's funny you mention that. I have here a black shirt. A black t-shirt. Look at the variety. I dress in my life. I don't even know why this shirt is over here. So it exists. I just don't wear it very often. Basically back from the NES era, LOL, which died early because Nintendo stopped it themselves. Okay. Okay, standard crew compliment. The Space Sail Control Relay. It's an artifact land with Barrier 2. Space Sail Control Relay enters tapped. During your upkeep, if you control a vehicle, put a charge counter on Space Sail Control Relay. Automated crew. Tap, remove a charge counter. Until your next upkeep, reduce the value of all crew abilities by up to 2. And we can tap for 3 mana. Okay, so it's like a Triome that you can't find through a fetch land. It comes into play tapped. It's got a little bit of defense to it with Barrier 2. During your upkeep, control a vehicle, put a charge counter on it. Remove a charge counter until your next turn. Reduce the value of all crew abilities by up to 2. I think that's okay. It's sort of clunky in that way. It's not exactly Triumph with upside because you can't fetch it out. So it's like, what are those cards? There's some 3 mana lands enter the battlefield tapped and they do nothing else. It's like that with upside. Moist critical fashion. There we go. Also moist critical. Yeah. Just wear the same damn thing every single day. See, if you wake up and you start thinking about what you have to wear, you've already lost. What can I tell you? I don't think about that at all. My wardrobe is all basically the same. There is a method to the madness. Maybe have the charge counters animate the vehicles immediately, like target vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. I like that. Yeah, like remove a charge counter and like let's just crew a vehicle with this land. How do we like that one, chat? I can get behind that. I think it works a little bit better because this ability is sort of it's sort of clunky. Reducing the crew cost of all the vehicles. Like probably you can crew them all anyway. Is your closet all gray shirts? My hamper. See, I am lazy when it comes to cleaning my clothes and putting them away. They go from I have 2 hampers, one for dirty laundry, one for clean laundry. So I put all the dirty, so when I've done my laundry, I just throw it all in a hamper. It's all messed. It's all mixed up. The underwear, the shirts, the socks, and so on. Okay. I like that a bit. You know what? As worded, this card is totally fine. Other than that, I like the idea of removing the charge counter to actually activate and crew a vehicle. So anyway, we're going to give it a pass. If something has crew 1, this would make it -1. There's actually a rule in the game that says if anything goes to -1, it just goes to 0. That's all. The hamper crew! That's right. Anyone else lives by... Like, I'm just too lazy to fold my clothes. And like, why? Like, maybe it's a little wrinkly in the hamper at first, but then afterwards, like, it's fine. Trent Sims, let's get to the second half of your cards with, I'll just look up the first one, right? Cog Work Genie. We find the rest of them. Thanks so much, Trent Sims. Really appreciate you being part of the show. Council's Messenger. This is a 3-mana 1/3 human rogue with Dethrone. Whenever this creature attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. This creature attacks the player with the most. I like that. So it gives you an advantage to attack the head honcho. Whenever players finish voting, scry X, where X is the number of opponents who voted for a choice that you didn't vote for. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this card. It sounds fun. The card is designed so that, if you lose the vote, it's like insurance. It's insurance on democracy. If I lose democracy, well, then at least I get to scry X. One way or another, it's like a win. White Chat says, we need a Q&A with Nikachu, $5 per question. Well, at the moment, you can just ask me the questions. I'll answer it at the same time. We've had a few Q&As before. They don't get a lot of views, but they get something. Okay, I like this card. Soren's Offer. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Start the game with Conspiracy face up in the command zone. Your minimum deck size and starting life total are both increased by 5. Sounds almost illegal. I feel like this shouldn't be allowed in Commander. A 104-card deck? Are you serious? Sounds outrageous. I mean, it's not crazy, but like as far as I understand, like how Conspiracy, that's only for draft, isn't it? That's like a draft mechanic. So if you're not drafting, then you're not playing Commander. Or is there 100 card? Is there a 99 card Commander draft? Does that exist? Conspiracy is banned in Commander, not in Limited. Yeah. So that's what I was sort of getting at. But then let's say Commander had a limited side to it. Is that possible? I swear I've seen on Twitter some people post their limited Commander deck lists. Anyway, I'm sure this is just illegal in all fronts. It's like you can make the card and then it's just banned immediately in Commander, right? It's just instantaneously banned. A weird and interesting jank ruling that I found is that stuff I like, Scry, Surveil, Crew, etc., that check stuff on cards or zones, it can't be Scry, Surveil, Crew 0. It must be 1. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of a Scry 1 or Surveil 0. That's like, I mean, Scry 0, Surveil 0. Sounds impossible. I'd hate to do a 99 card deck draft. What if it was just 2 people? What about then? Okay, Soren's Offer. Probably horribly illegal. Okay, the damn draws with the Armor of the Bloodlust. Oh, sorry. Armor of Bloodlust. That's just me being a typical Magic player, just inserting a the where maybe where it's redundant. Armor of Bloodlust is a 3-mana shackle target creature. Shackled creature is goaded and has +2/+2. Shackled creature fights another creature its controller owns at the end of their combat phase. If it doesn't, exile shackled creature instead. Oh god, you have nothing to fight, so you fought yourself, and you get an unshackle it for 4 mana. Shackled target, it becomes +2/+2. Shackled creature fights another target creature its controller owns at the end of their combat phase. So you play it on your turn. They can't fight anything, but then they can attack. Can we put this on our own creature? Shackled target creature. It gets. Oh no, it's goaded. Okay, so this is meant to be given to another card. Okay. This is, remember, shackle is like the it's like equip, but for an opponent's creature, and it immediately goes on. So I guess it's like an aura. It's like half aura, half equipment in that regard. Little MX Doom is like, you guys know that Commander Draft is a thing, right? What do you think the Commander Legend sets were for? Opening. Oh, hold on. Well, the sets were just meant for opening and adding to your Commander deck. Trent Sims, there was a Commander limited set. Soren's offer is actually in my cube, and it works very well. Bryce says, yes, you can draft Commander. Usually it's a 39 deck with one Commander. Oh, that's not the same flavor. I want 99. Okay, let's say it's not a 99. So the difference between one-on-one Magic and draft, 60 card and draft, is by you lose 33%. So 99 cards times 0.67. Well, it's just going to be yeah, 60. You get to play with the 65 card deck. That's how it should be. 65, not 39. The way I look at it. Okay, Armor of Bloodlust. Is this like more of a political card because your opponent is goated? You goat your opponent's creature. Okay, next super chat we got from Dangerous One, the Goblin Catapults. I want to make a flavorful card with an older Magic flair. Goblin Catapults. Ha! We got a 4-mana artifact. Tap and pay. I think it should be. I think you got them reversed. You have to pay 2, then tap. Tap target untapped goblin. Huh? I paid 2 mana to tap to then tap target untapped goblin. This is terrible. What kind of ability is this? Okay, then we have untap in red. Sacrifice target goblin tapped by goblin catapult. Oh, I see. Oh yeah, you did say it was more flavorful, right? It's a flavor win. Sacrifice target goblin tapped by goblin catapult. Deal X damage to any target, where X is the sacrifice goblin's power. All right, load up the next one. I need a load up sound. I have like gun loading sound effects on my computer. Okay, we got a lot of people telling me about the limited. Limited is usually 40 card since you tend to only open up 3 packs per player. Look, in Commander Limited, we should be opening up 5 packs of like 25 cards. All right, that's the future here. Wizards needs to make like a bit more cards per pack. We need more value out of Wizards. Okay, so we're loading the goblin in first, and then we're sacrificing the goblin, and then it goes splat. Goblin missile go, wah! We hardly knew ye. Okay, next up. The Damn Draws with Xenomorph Silverback. Wow, that's a throwback. The Xenomorphs are back. What made you like revisit this? The Damn Draws. It's been a while since we've seen the alien cards. 5 mana for a 5/4 Xenomorph Ape. So you like combined 2 of your series together. Furious. 7 mana. You may cast the spell by paying its Furious cost. If you do, add the words in square brackets. Oh, God. Otherwise, remove the words in square brackets. Trample. This creature has haste and enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Acidic Blood. When this creature dies, destroy target non-land permanent with mana value less than Xenomorph Silverback's toughness. What's this mechanic called? It was a failed mechanic. Like, nobody liked this mechanic. Cleave? Yeah, it was Cleave. Cleave. I'm not a fan that we brought Cleave back. So this is like reverse Cleave. Yeah, exactly. But why? Why did we bring Cleave back? What was the point of that? If you do, add the words in square brackets. Otherwise, remove the words in square brackets. So for 7 mana, it gets trample and add the words in square bracket. Otherwise, remove the words. Huh? I'm actually a little confused here. You like Cleave there, Bryce? You're a Cleave fan? Hey there, Michael Ing. It's anti-Cleave. It was called Primal before, and you didn't have a problem with it then. Oh, was it? Oh, Ice? Ah. Well, why has it been renamed? Reviving an old keyword? You know what? Well, it's not technically the exact same thing. Do we have a revival thing here? Can't get definitely one. No custom. We did this already. 2-hour learn grammar. 5 words. Too much X. Oh damn, we don't have the old. Okay, we don't have old mechanic. Not on this bingo chart. It should be just kicker. Someone else made a primal keyword that I thought was more fitting. Ah, okay. Some explanation over here. Do you know what the flavor reminds me of? The Eldrazi. When the Eldrazi like meant like I don't know what the word is. Merged, mended, bonded with other creatures in the multiverse. That's exactly how I see this card. We have ape and alien together at once. I still don't exactly know what this is, but Nikachu, Cleave is just kicker. Everything is kicker, though. We have all known that for years. You may cast the spell by paying its furious cost. If you do, add the words in the square brackets. So this creature has haste and enters with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Otherwise, remove the words in the square brackets. Okay. So if it's a 5 mana, it's just the square brackets just doesn't exist. We got kicker. Emerge is actually what gave me the idea for the Xenomorph set and the adaptive emerge keyword. I didn't even see emerge on here though. Or maybe I'm going to see it later. We're going to see it later. All right. Lil MX Doom. The ultimate boon. We have Gandalf. Wooburg Gandalf. Legendary instant. You gain 3 life. Target player draws 3 cards. Add triple black. It's all, yeah, okay. It's all the boons. Deal 3 damage to any target. Target creature gains +3/+3 until end of turn. Did you like literally make this right now? Like during the show? Because we were talking about the boons earlier, right? Arthix says, Cleave is the best mechanic. It can do things Kicker can't. All right. Little MX Doom says, yes, I did. That is truly the ultimate boon. Now, is it broken? What's legendary instant? You need a legendary permanent on the battlefield. You gain 3 life. Okay, that's fine. Target player draws 3 cards. It's like better than Cruel Ultimatum. Add triple black, deal 3 damage to any target, and target creature gets +3/+3. Do we need targets for everything? Like if we don't have a creature in play, is it unplayable? I just don't remember. Okay, how to cast legendary instance MTG. You can't cast legendary instance unless you control a legendary creature or a legendary planeswalker. Okay. I think that makes it probably really strong, but not insanely strong. I could see, for example, it's giving me very... What is that 5 mana card called? Niv to Light. What is Niv to Light's win condition called? Bring to Light. It's giving me very Bring to Light vibes, because Bring to Light is a 5 mana card, but generally speaking, you want to pay a lot of Wooburg mana in order to cast it, and then you'll usually get some sort of broken card that is like worth a ton of value. This card is very similar in that vein, where you need to get a or like you could Niv to Light into Niv Mizzet, which then gets like this much value out of it. So I think actually this card is strangely fair, especially since you need a legendary creature or a planeswalker to cast it. And if you don't have that, well, it's just a dead card in your hand. Completely dead. Dimitri's just want to share. I found out that legendary instants and sorceries will fizzle if you lose the legend at the time of resolving. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Careful when you cast this card. Might be just lost. The damn draws with Colonel Sanders. Are you gonna run out of Spaceballs references? Okay, Colonel Sanders. What's wrong with you, Colonel Sanders? Chicken. The 3-mana 2/2 soul. Why is it a soldier stooge? 4-mana tap, exile Colonel Sanders and up to 1 creature each opponent controls. During the next end phase, each opponent may pay 2 to return a creature they own that was exiled this way to the battlefield. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! Unleash the petting zoo. Call off the circus. Can't remember the rest of the things they abandoned the ship for. No, that makes perfect flavor sense. I don't even know if anyone wants to use this. During the next end phase, each player may pay 2 to return a creature they own that was exiled this way to the battlefield. So up to exile and up to 1 creature each opponent. Oh, I see. So we're just exiling all the creatures. What if they can't pay? Bingo, new creature type. Oh, you're so on today, Brian. We need you. Without you, what would the bingo card do? New creature type. I only have a few left at this point. Oh no, we're running out of characters from Spaceballs. We're probably gonna have like what, like maybe what other Mr. Coffee, right? Mr. Radar. We're running out of stuff. If they can't pay it, remains exiled. That's great. So it's actually like a removal. It's almost like hard removal. Okay, what do you got here, Steve Cooper? You got something special for us. I know it. GBOC Mini Series 1. When I see GB, I think Game Boy. I don't think this has anything to do with the Game Boy. 2 cards I just made from unfinished cards I've been making on +1 donor to chat at the end of the show. Excellent. Thank you so much, Steve Cooper. You got it. Okay, we got Necropotence level mana here. Greater Demands for triple black. Enchantment. When Greater Demands enters, draw a card. Whenever a spell, ability, or permanent an opponent controls causes them to sacrifice a permanent, they sacrifice twice that many permanents instead if able. Okay, whenever a spell, ability, or permanent an opponent controls causes them to lose life, they lose twice that much life instead. This card's crazy. I think a lot of people would love this type of card. Question, did it really need to draw a card when it entered the battlefield? I mean, maybe it's necessary, otherwise it's too much of a donut. 100% without the draw effect, this card would be, I think definitely it's fair. I don't know if it's still fair with the card draw. Like, the effect is insane. You play this on turn 3, and then you set up your future turns. It just explodes. Make them sack 1, then they sack 2. They lose 4 life, they lose 8. Only opponent's control, doesn't affect your abilities. When a spell, ability, or permanent an opponent controls causes them to sacrifice a permanent, they sacrifice twice that many permanents instead, if able. Oh, like, that's weird. Oh, so if they have to sacrifice, oh, it's a tax. When a spell, ability, or permanent an opponent controls causes them to lose life, they lose twice that much life instead. Oh, I didn't catch that. Great catch. Yeah, that's a great catch over there. Okay, so the card draw matters. So, okay, it's instead of being on the offense, this is more of a tax than anything. Yeah, so if they want to pay the life on Sign of Blood, they have to lose 4. Okay, then this card is still a great idea. And now I would say it is necessary to have the card draw, because without it, like you might not be taxing your opponent for anything. And we got the Edimon, the all-named. It's a 2-mana 2/2 shapeshifter with changeling. Edimon has all card names in addition to its in addition to its name. How many names is that? All card names. So it's like every single card that exists. The truth is out there in the Etimon. Okay, pay 1, tap, change the name of target permanent or spell you control with another card. I have no idea what the utility to this is. Sounds really incredibly niche. It's not broken or anything. Oh, but it is a changeling. Okay, so all the changeling decks are going to play this thing. This gets sacked with a single legendary creature other than it. Well, I don't really have... I'm just trying to think like how I even use this card. Change the name of target permanent or spell you control with another card. So it's like, I don't know, it gets around... No, it doesn't even get around Meddling Mage, because I can't even cast the card in the first place. Oh, okay, there's some cards where when it enters the battlefield, you name a card, like Sorceress Spyglass. And then from there, I can change the name. Change the name of target permanent. No, that doesn't change, or spell you control. No, that still doesn't change anything. We're going to be on the freebies, the very next card. So get your freebies ready. Use with Approach of the Second Sun. Change the name of target permanent or spell you control with another card. Oh, okay. Yeah, that actually finally works. Yeah, that's right. So we cast a card, call it Approach of the Second Sun, and then we play the real Approach of the Second Sun and actually win the game. Okay, that's the first idea, I guess. Surgical Extraction protect. No, I won't. I don't think it'll protect versus Surgical Extraction. Change the name of target permanent. You can't target things in your graveyard. Anyone out there watching on the replay, how do you even do anything with this Edimon, the all-named? Seems almost impossible. Pithing Needle. No. See, it says change the name of target permanent, not the ability on permanent. So Pithing Needle, we're changing the name of Pithing Needle, not the card named with Pithing Needle. See, I also thought the same way with Sorcerer's Spyglass, but it doesn't work like that. Actually, we could do it the other way around. Okay, so let's say someone plays Pithing Needle, names the One Ring. Then I cast the One Ring, and then I change the One Ring to the second ring. And then all of a sudden, Pithing Needle won't affect it because I've already changed the name of the permanent. Okay, so that actually can work. So we can play around Pithing Needle by targeting the permanent that was Pithing Needled. That actually works. Okay. Super niche. Super ultra niche. Okay, everyone. It's time. Okay, Steve Cooper and also Ungodly One. They've got super chats. It's time for the freebie section. Boss says if this has all names, Pithing Needle affects this too. It will actually. You're right. Correct. That's oh wow. Got him. You're right. If this thing has all named, if it has every single name, if you play Pithing Needle and name anything, then it also locks this thing down. You can't even activate it. Oh my goodness. Well, what bingo? Okay, Pedgeman wants a bird. Utsuho Rad Hazard. You have this over here? Which one is yours? Your Utsuho. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. We have 6 super chats to get through. Okay, Suho. Pedgeman loves getting super chats. 4 mana for a 5 loyalty Utsuho. Whenever one or more loyalty counters are removed from Utsuho, give each player that many rad counters. +1. Choose a player. That player gets 2 rad counters. Then if they have 3 or more rad counters, proliferate. Does this like spiral out of control like super fast? -3. Utsuho deals deals damage to each other permanent equal to the number of rad counters you have. -9. It's like, what's gonna kill you first, the rad counters or like the damage? Remember, rad counters is like, you have to self-mill at the beginning of your upkeep equal to the number of rad counters you have. I think it's the beginning of your upkeep. It's either that or end of turn. -9. You get an emblem with, if an opponent would lose a rad counter, they gain 2 rad counters instead. I guess we're just trying to win the game as soon as possible, right? Is that how this is working? Gets around Nevermore. Whenever one or more loyalty counters are removed, each player gets that many rad counters. So if I go -3, they get 3 rad counters, and also it deals damage to each other permanent equal to the number of rad counters. So it's like this is effectively like an Anger of the Gods. Then we go +1, choose a player. That player gets 2 rad counters. Then if they have 3 or more rad counters, proliferate. So they had 3 before. Then we added 2, so that 5. So then they go from 5 to 6. Beginning of main 2. Really? It's the weirdest time to get to self-mill. Okay. It passes. I think. Pretty sure it passes. Okay, next up, let's get a few more. Okay, let's get 5 freebies out here. Thanks to the Ungodly One. Like your content, and you know what? You like to donate to people. We get 5 donations. Let's start. Where's everyone that wants a dono? Okay, I know the real Maxim loves donos. Ember Lynn Pinkle just got on the stream. It's quite pink. We have a 3-mana 0/1 Sinner. Oh, they've been naughty, have they? Whenever you cast the spell, flip a coin. If tails, Emberlyn deals damage to you equal to her power. If her owner is dealt damage this way, she deals that much damage to any target. Target opponent gains control of Emberlyn. Put a seduction counter on her, and Emberlyn gets +1/+1 for each seduction counter on her. Okay, so now that we know... Okay, now I'm going to have to... I gotta read this a second time. So, whenever you cast a spell, we still flip a coin. If it's tails, Emberlyn deals damage to you equal to her power, which looks like 0 right now, but it's not forever. If her owner is dealt damage this way, she deals that much damage. But how do you deal damage in the first place? Because you can't. Right? Like, if I'm reading this correctly, it's like if it deals damage, which is never going to happen because it's 0, she deals that much damage to any target. Target opponent gains control of Emberlyn. Put a seduction counter on her. And she gets +1/+1 for each seduction counter. If her owner is dealt damage this way, she deals that much damage to any target. Target opponent gains control of her. Oh, I see. Okay, I guess the first... Hold on. Whenever you flip... If tails, Emberlyn deals damage to you equal to her power. If her owner is dealt damage this way, she deals that much damage to any target. I guess this happens no matter what. So even if we deal no damage to us, target opponent gains control of Emberlyn, put a seduction on counter, and then it becomes +1/+1. So it just doesn't matter. Deal damage to ourselves or not. Still going to get buffed up. And sounds like Emberlyn likes to get around. Everyone gets to know Emberlyn. Very gossipy. Yeah, and gets bigger. Okay. A wonderfully complicated card, but we got there. Somehow I feel like some part of this paragraph should be broken in half on its own, but I could be wrong. I saw Anna. Anna wants a card. Absolutely, you get to have a card. And you also have your own super chat sound effect. How about that? How about this one? Acheron Avid... What? Acheron Avid Faustian. Please read the post before the card. Okay. Okay, I wanted to make a card. I want to make a card based on a D&D villain. I ended up creating a character inspired by a legend from Western folklore. Mechanically, I challenge myself to make a Grixis creature people won't hate. Hey, I love all the Grixis creatures. Atron, Avid, Faustian. All right, so we have a Grixis creature. Who hates Grixis? What's going on over here? Seduction counters do something. It's in the text above in the post. Oh, do they? Well, I understood. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I just want to finish this one. So, Atron, Avid, Faustian is a 5-mana 2/4 vampire warlock. Death Touch and Lifelink. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, Surveil 2, then exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. I'm pretty sure people are still gonna hate this card. You like basically how many cards are you drawing here effectively? When you cast your first spell, Surveil 2. That's like drawing 2. Then exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your turn, you may play that card. So you're like drawing an extra like 3 cards a turn. Well, I'm not gonna say it danger, but I mean it's very, very strong. Brian Freed has a love-hate relationship with the Grixis. But to be honest, maybe that's the problem with Grixis. Like, they just have these really powerful mechanics. And attacking into this thing is impossible. It's got Death Touch and Lifelink and 4 toughness. It can absorb a lot of damage. No, don't get me wrong. I think it's okay. Like, I would give it a pass easily. I think people would still hate it, though. Because, like, I think if you have Surveil in your deck, it is used to fill your graveyard to fuel, like, other mechanics that require card types or, like, enough cards in the graveyard to pay for other spells. So, in that capacity, and it's like whenever you cast the first spell each turn, so you just basically draw. I wouldn't say you're always drawing a card on your opponent's turn, because if you exile a land, then you can't play the land, of course. I failed then. Well, I'll tell you what, Anna. You make this card, you play it against your friends, and then you see how they feel about it. It's a lot of card advantage, though, the way you worded it. You exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You can play that card. So every single time you play a spell on your turn, exile a card, play a spell on your opponent's turn, exile a card, play a spell on your another opponent's turn, exile a card. So you can end up with like 3 to 4 extra cards by your turn. Bingo for discussing the rules. Whenever we were talking about Scry 0. All right, we discussed the rules. You're right. And that means we don't have just... Well, it sounds like we've got a bingo now, don't we? Boop. With a bingo, that means more freebies. For freebies to the freebie world. Okay, anyway, I have no problem with this card. I think it's neat. Okay, I need to get back to... Okay, let's get back to Pinkle. And you said, Emberlyn Pinkle, Obsessor, whenever a creature with seduction counters on it attacks the last player to put any seduction counters on it, the attacker loses 1 life per counter. Somehow I feel like that mechanic really should be explained on the card, but I understand you have absolutely no room. Like, if I were... Because it looks like the seduction counter has no purpose except, like, it basically represents +1/+1. But I understand, like, that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. But okay, so I understand. Okay, who else wants a freebie here? It's freebie world now. I think Benovsky wanted one as well. Benovsky wanted one. Trivial Reasoning. Trivial Reasoning. Oh my god, it's like, looks like an ultimatum. Red, red, black, black, blue, blue. Sorcery. Target opponent chooses a number. Reveal cards on the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Target opponent chooses a number? I choose 20. If its mana value is equal to the chosen number, exile it. Otherwise, put it onto the battlefield. Put the rest into your graveyard. Huh? The target opponent chooses a number. Let's say I choose 20. Reveal cards on the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. If its mana value is equal to the chosen number, exile it. Otherwise, put it onto the battlefield. Oh, okay, I see. So if I name 20 and it's not a 20 mana card, you get it. Oh, this is wild. A little gamble going on over here. So it's just like a super. This is actually not a very, very good card, or maybe it is. Okay, so my first impression is like they will never guess the card very well. So it's just like a huge gamble whether they hit the card that you want. And also it's like it's for 6 mana. I don't think this effect is all that strong, even if you were to get into a card. Yeah, I think the card looks a lot weaker. And then on top of that, let's say I played in a combo deck where I have like one creature, like say Atraxa. But then you just name like how much does Atraxa cost? I think 7. So you just always choose 7. So then you have to mix it up. You gotta have like maybe a Grizzlebrand and Atraxa in your deck. I think Grizzlebrand is 8. Yeah, Grizzlebrand is 8. So I think it's definitely playable. Like it's definitely a card. It's in the not broken category of cards. You can use this to cheat out the Eldrazi. But then your opponent can just name the Eldrazi mana value and then you get nothing. The real maximum, by the way, the reason the seduction counters are there and not explained is that it's a set-wide mechanic for my custom set. Thanks for letting me know the real maxim. You were giving Grixis Graveyard love. You're a little late here, Brian Freets. A little slow to the draw here. That was like 3 cards ago. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Reasoning is limited to 1. I wondered what it would be like in MTG. Oh, is this a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card? Yu-Gi-Oh! Adapted Magic card? Not broken at all. Okay, do we have any other donated cards? Or anyone wants a donation? I'm going to quickly look through chat. And if not, we will start taking free ones from the freebie section. Don't know if there's anybody else here. You want another freebie? Oh, yeah, you can have another freebie, Anna. Okay, there are 3 freebies left. I have a feeling Anna, Pedgeman, and the real Maxim want them. Oh, wait a minute. Your freebie is weak. You definitely get a freebie. Okay, I spoke too soon. Sarah, the Ning Beauty. Uh-oh. Well, I'm gonna look up Sarah instead. Is this good enough? You got Sarah Mana Steel. Oh no, okay. Here's the Sarah. There's no art, Dimitri. You got that like PGN sort of looking background over here. Okay, we have a 5 mana 5/2 Sarah. Well, Sarah is alive. That's not really a mechanic. All angels you control get +4, +10, but lose indestructible, while Sarah gains protection from everything. When Sarah deals combat damage, you gain life equal to that damage. How can we word this that makes sense? Okay, so first off, this bottom line, that's called lifelink. We just put that in one word. It's lifelink. While Sarah is alive, you don't have to specify that, because if it's on the battlefield, she is alive. She is alive and kicking. No art for Sarah. What do you do to this to me? Yeah, I know. Anyway, all angels you control get +4, +10. Oh, this is a planeswalker. This is a planeswalker with power and toughness. Okay, no, we've like gone beyond what's normal here. Summon planeswalker Sarah. Suppose you summon creature. Dimitri, this is like we're at the earlier stages. This is a prototype of what I'm assuming you're going to unleash on the world much later. The alpha wording. When it deals combat damage, you gain life equal to that damage. So long as Sarah's in play, all angels you control get +4, +10, which is also outrageous. but lose indestructible while Sarah gains protection from everything. So all your other angels lose indestructible. Sarah gains protection from everything. Fascinating. This is meant to be from limited edition alpha. Oh, okay. Because we're going back to alpha. We're going back to beta. I like the sound of that. Well, lifelink also triggers on non-combat damage as well. Deals combat damage, you gain life. I mean, I guess this is a trigger. So this is, in some sense, like an alternative lifelink. It's technically worse, I think, because if you block, you don't get the damage until afterwards. Until after damage. You could be dead by then. Okay, Pedgeman wants another super chat. Bloody exaction. What the hell is this? I'm only looking at one card here. I have no idea what all these are. I'm gonna look at the card that has the fewest words on it. That has a lot of words. That has a lot of words. Why are you doing this to me, Pedgeman? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you torturing me here? All right, we're gonna move in. We gotta move in close. Bloody Exaction is a black X, legendary kindred instant, and a vampire. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each time blood was spilled this turn. Blood is spilled when a player is dealt damage for the first time in a turn, or when a blood is put into a graveyard from the battlefield. Target opponent chooses one. You choose up to X non-land permanents they control with mana value X or less. They sacrifice those permanents and you gain X life. You choose up to where mana value X or less. Where the X? Oh, X came in the casting cost. It's funny. The opponent chooses one of these, or they could choose. They exile cards from the top of their library until they exile cards with total mana value X or more. You may play those cards for as long as they are exiled. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value, other than paying its mana cost. You had so little room to word this card. It got cut off. We're not done. Hold on. Whoa. We're not done here today. See, look, the hollow stamp covered it. Start charging $10 a card for cards over 50 words. Oh, that's a great idea. The price of custom cards are going up. Dimitri told me that a long time ago. Like, basically, they should be priced based on like how wordy they are. There's not a lot of words. It could be $1. It's something like this. It's $10. All right, this is officially a 2-hour bingo stream. No, it's actually not 2 hours. It's 1 hour, 1 hour 56 minutes. We gotta wait a little while. We're close though. We're close. I'll give you another freebie, Anna. Okay, the idea. I like the idea of this. I don't like how wordy this card is though. It's just too many words. You know, it's not fun reading a novel. Especially, well, I guess a huge chunk of this had to explain your mechanic. I'll tell you what I do like about this card. I like this. Your target opponent chooses one. So it's probably weak for that reason, but you're going to pay double black and a bunch of X, and then your opponent can choose hopefully one of 2 bad options. Okay, Anna wants another. Please give me another freebie. I want to get a bingo square. Guppy Isaac 1 True Companion. Does this hit a bingo square? It's a 3-mana 1/3 cat, Undying. When Guppy Isaac 1 True Companion enters, support 2. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 other target creatures. Okay, so it has Undying. When Guppy Isaac's 1 True Companion enters, support 2. I don't get it. I mean, it's a card. There's nothing wrong with this. 3 mana for a 1/3. It's a cat. Oh, this is literally a card just meant to get on the bingo. Whoops. Hold on. Didn't we do it though? 5+ words in card type. We already did 5 words in the card name. It's right over here. This is card type, which means it had to be down here. So far, we only have 3 words. Legendary creature cat. Yeah, the 5 words in the card name, it was already done. It's been taken. Sorry about that. Zasms is like, print it. All right. We're going to print the thing immediately. Blood is spilled is a mechanic I made months ago on my vampire cards. This is the throwback to these. I don't doubt you, Pedgeman. I don't doubt you. Okay, and we are going to finish it off with Trent Sims with Darkhold Castle. Okay, Fortress, our new card type idea. They work very similar to Planeswalkers, but you can attack a player that controls one. Okay, this is a 5 mana for a 5. So it's like who gets this? So Legendary Fortress, whenever one or more loyalty counters are removed from Darkhold Castle, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So when we lose the loyalty, we get token. +1. Black creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain lifelink until end of turn. That feels like a throwback. New non-creature. Oh, was it new non-creature type? All right. Oops. It's blue. I want red. Beautiful red over here. And now it's a 2-hour stream. Gotta get rid of the fortress before you can attack the player. I like the idea, but feels abusable. -3. Destroy target non-black creature attacking Darkhold Castle. You may play this ability anytime you control. You play an instant. So who has this? Okay, so I'm assuming it comes into play under our control. So we get these abilities, and then if someone nails off loyalty, they actually get the creatures, right? So the issue with Fortress is that even if the opponent has enough power to wipe the fortress, they can't trample over it, so their combat step is wasted. Well, not completely. Remember, whenever one or more loyalty counters are removed from Darkhold Castle, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Oh, I guess it comes comes into play under your control. Is this like insane then? Is this just like I wouldn't say broken, but 2 people super chat to complete the bingo. Looks like there's gonna be 2. It looks like there's gonna be 2 more freebies. It's a super wall. It sounds so punishing. So we get like basically an anthem every turn, or we can destroy a non-black creature. Whenever we remove the loyalty, we get a 2/2 creature. Okay. This could be a really strong mechanic. Like, it might be stronger than I think it is. Maybe it is an idea. I have thought about a few ways to make this work. Perhaps they need to attack it with at least one guy to attack the player. Maybe. Okay. Jack Solaris. No card, just a super chat to complete the bingo, which you have done. Which means we have yet another bingo just in time. Where is my beautiful blue? And what that means, well, okay, so we complete the bingo. We get another freebie. Anyone else want another freebie here? How many freebies do you want, Anna? Not everyone gets like 3 freebies and what you're trying to you're binging. Okay, do you know what? I want to give a freebie to someone who's not here on the show. You know what? They weren't able to be here. Let's give one to, who is this? Zinrog. Blazing Cognition. This is a 2-mana sorcery. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Search your library for a card that shares a card type with any of the exiled cards. Reveal that card and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Search your library for a card that shares a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Huh? So we're gonna exile 3. It's just like it's such a weirdly worded card, because you could also say exile the top 3 cards of your library and then play one of the cards, but instead we are tutoring for the card, right? And putting it into our hand. You could also say like exile X number of cards. You may put one of those cards into your hand. I don't see the big difference. I don't see the point of like tutoring for it. But I mean, yeah, it's a legal thing you can do. Exile 3 cards. Search your library for a card that shares a card type. Oh, a card type, not the actual card with any of the exiled cards. Okay, so we exile, we could show a bunch of artifacts, and then we tutor for exactly an artifact that we want, or we exile a creature, or exile land. It just feels like isn't this like just a weird demonic tutor? It's a tutor, but you aren't sure what type it'll be, the tutor, yeah. It's like, it's a weird demonic tutor. It's like not guaranteed to give you the card type that you want. Could be broken. Actually, probably is broken. Not guaranteed, though. So anyway, that was okay. I'm gonna give another freebie to the void here for the poor people. They couldn't show up today, but they posted a card anyway. Did we look at this card today? From Desu, Predator, Scourge of Sky Shroud. It's a 5-mana 7/4. That's enormous. It is a Phyrexian vehicle flying. When this enters or attacks, destroy target creature. Oh, it gives me there's another vehicle that's like 5 or 6 mana. When it enters the battlefield, shoot something for 3 damage. It's got the same vibes as this. Also has flying as well. Crew 4. Yeah. I have no commentary. You can blink this card. Oh yeah, when it attacks, you also destroy things. So it's basically a win condition. It is a vehicle win condition if you can get it in play, which is not even insane. It's just a big clunky 5-mana removal spell. And I think the cost for crewing it is quite acceptable. It's not a random thing where it's not like a random 1/1 you can attack with. You have to build up a board enough to attack with this. Not to mention, you can tap down all your creatures and they can still kill this with like a Doomblade. And I think that will work out quite fine. All right. Thank you so much, people, for being here today. I appreciate all of you. If you want to be part of the show, you know how you're here. You got to be here 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. You know where to find me. Nikachu MTG. Thanks so much for everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And of course, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate every single one of you, especially the ones who also contribute with their cards. People like Anna and Pedgeman, Dimitri, Brian. We got Raruni Rockman, Trent Sims, Benovsky, The Real Maxim, Doug S, Zazims. We got Jess, The Damn Draws. Who else do we have? Do I get Anna? Well, I think we got everybody. Coffee crew, the custom coffee crew. So as usual, my custom coffee crew. You keep bringing up them cards. Keep the cards coming, and we'll keep bringing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you at the next cup.